What is up, everybody? Solomon here. So I wanted to do a quick video today about DTCC, a little bit about MISIS and Global Pay Plus, and just maybe a basic little news thing here. It is my daughter's birthday, so I'm going to try to make this quick. So SBI VC Trade finally launched their mobile app, which was supposed to launch in June per their roadmap. You can see right on here, XRP to fiat in Japan, and that is fantastic. That's actually, they're delivering upon what they said they were going to deliver as far as the roadmap was concerned. Also today, I don't know if anybody has seen this yet, this is the European Security and Markets Authority for the EU, and they put out a long regulatory response paper for distributed ledger technology. There's quite a bit of information in here. Obviously, it does not directly call out Ripple, Ripple, the company, XRP, any other digital assets. However, there's a lot of good information in here. I will link this in the video here. So if you're not aware of who that organization is, European Securities and Markets Authority is a EU financial regulatory agency and Europe's supervisory authority, which is located in Paris. Central Bank of France has quite a lot of documents on Ripple and XRP as well. All right, now we're going to get into a little bit of the DTCC information here, which is more so why I wanted to make this video. And I found a couple of really interesting connection points in a few slides down the road here. If you're not aware, DTCC is a member of Hyperledger. And if we look here, this is a Hyperledger presentation from 2018. And, you know, Hyperledger Quilt, which was contributed to by NTT Data and Ripple. NTT Data, that Everest document where it talks about ILP and XRPL and XRP underlying everything across the board. That's NTT Data's subsidiary Everest. But Java implementation of the Interledger Protocol and Hyperledger Quilt. We obviously know that ILP doesn't really care what it's transmitting. It's atomic swaps between ledgers, and it doesn't necessarily have to deal with crypto. It can, but okay, I'm going to move on to, there was 2 documents that came out, and actually there was a live webcast today on DTCC. I missed it. I was running around with the wife. But that live webcast is supposed to be uploaded, I would imagine, within the next week or so, and I will definitely be looking into that a little bit more. And that has to deal with Project Ion and Project Whitney, which are DTCC's DLT initiatives for settlement modernization. So the one thing I will say about that Project Ion, which is spelled ION, I know there's a lot of riddlers and all this stuff that's in the XRP community, especially on Twitter. You see the Bearable Guy stuff, everything. I tend to take all of the information that's posted by them with a gigantic grain of salt. However, credit where credit's due. I have been looking into DTCC for the past 2 years, and I had never seen anything about Project Ion, spelled ION. And there was, there's a correlation there for what was posted. So not saying I support that across the board, but you have to give credit where credit's due. And that was definitely called. 2 of these that were put out just 3 days ago, and I just caught these today: settlement from optimization to modernization, and advancing together, moving settlement processes to T+0, which is basically instant settlement, is what T+0 stands for. So this is the first one here. This is interesting. It's more of a Q&A that was more recent with Mike McLean, DTC's Managing Director and General Manager of Equity, Clearing, and Settlement Services. And there's some good stuff in here, but I don't really want to get into that one so much here. And this is the other one here, settlement from optimization to modernization. I'm going to link both of those. What I did find, which was interesting, was another new document, which is modernizing the U.S. equity markets, post-trade infrastructure. And here's where we really get into the meat of this video, everybody. So I'm going to read this real quick, and then I'm going to tie it together with the capabilities of the XRPL and XRP itself. So this is from DTCC. This is modernizing the U.S. equity markets post-trade infrastructure. A substantial amount of trades in the market are executed by liquidity providers that provide efficient two-sided markets. These important trading firms trade on both sides of the market and are largely risk flat at the end of the day. Real-time settlement would require these liquidity providers to have significant sums of capital and securities on hand to make trade-for-trade deliveries. The current infrastructure relies on the efficiencies of trade netting to accommodate substantial amounts of trades. Wholesale market making is important to the infrastructure as it provides the capital and balance sheets to back customer trading. Significantly increasing those capital requirements by requiring pre-funding of all trades without the benefit of recognizing the offsetting trades would substantially increase the cost of trade execution by the end user. They are talking, and I will wrap this up in a nutshell for you. Those two paragraphs are about not wanting to increase the Nostro and Vostro. If you're not aware what Nostro and Vostro are, it's the front end and the back end. Institutions need to have those reserves built up just from a CYA or a cover your ass standpoint, along with if they were to do direct settlement using the liquidity reserves that are already there, Nostro and Vostro, they would have to significantly increase how much Nostro and Vostro that they have in those accounts on the front and the back end, which is not ideal. They're telling you right now that is not ideal. Here's where distributed ledger technology, and especially a digital asset such as XRP, which could potentially bridge and remove the necessity for the front end and the back end liquidity requirements, comes in. Listen to this paragraph. It is freaking huge. Real-time settlement could also introduce operational inefficiencies. This is if they're building up the Nostro and Vostro. In a typical low volatility trading day, NSCC and DTC process over 1 million shares per second on average, valued at over $16 million per second. During peak trading hours, such as market open and close, this number spikes to over 300 million shares per second, valued at over $25 billion. $25 billion per second is how I'm reading this. Settling these amounts through the day in real time would introduce substantial financial and operational risks in the equity markets. Accelerated settlements that abandons the significant capital and operational efficiencies gained through centralized multilateral netting would be a step backward for the world's most liquid markets. Striking a balance between the capital efficiencies of netting and the risk mitigation benefits of moving settlement closer to trade date should be the goal of the industry. So they're still a little bit weary of the instant settlement here, but this is interesting. This is very interesting. The number of transactions per second that needs to be supported to be able to facilitate something like instant settlement in these markets. Today, an average of more than 50 million trades are processed daily, which can and has spiked on occasion to over 120 million and as many as 25,000 transactions per second during peak processing. Any technology implemented would need to meet the industry standard of handling at least 2 to 3 times the current market volume peak. So this is 25,000 transactions per second would need to be handled, correct? 2 to 3 times the current market volume peak. It's interesting that about a year ago, XRP or Ripple on the XRP portion of the website, we have 1,500 transactions per second over here, correct? Right on the website, scalable. XRP constantly handles 1,500 transactions per second 24/7 and can scale to handle the same throughput as Visa. Source, 65,000 transactions per second as of July 15th, 2019. That's right at about 2.5 times. So 25,000 and you've got 65,000 right here. I'm not obviously saying that they're definitely going to be utilizing XRP, but I believe across the board, interoperability is going to open up doors for something like XRP to come in and play a role in these markets. If you also look, they talk about, here's a presentation here between DTCC, Don Donahue, President and CEO of Miranda Partners and an advisor to Ripple. And this is through a blockchain presentation there. This gets into PayPlus and I think it was XRP Darren, Fame21 More that posted that CLS PayPlus is integrated into Trade Information Warehouse of DTCC. I'm not going to post what he posted, obviously, because that's his information, but definitely give him a follow. I think he has some videos on it as well. This just goes into, Ripple enabled as of 2015, I believe. Yeah, 2015 added Australia, RITS, PDS, New Zealand, Malaysia, Rentas, and Ripple. Now, if you get into this, this is also very interesting. This was a MISIS. If you're not aware who MISIS is, MISYS. MISIS and D plus H merged together to form Finastra. So for the Finastra announcements saying that they were going to be utilizing or allow their clients to utilize on-demand liquidity and XRP, that's a huge announcement, right? But that's always been the case. The MISIS and D plus H were already XRP enabled. They were already RippleNet as well. So this paragraph was interesting. This is from 2015. This is older, but IBM is working with Ripple to add direct access to cross-border payments for non-correspondent banks to its financial transaction manager platform. I actually went on and looked up IBM's financial transaction manager is still right here. So this is a MISIS presentation. I'm assuming at this point, Ripple was integrated directly into IBM's financial transaction manager. And then it also talks about D plus H has integrated Ripple into Global Pay Plus. We talked about that. It's Global Payment Service Hub offering. CGI has incorporated Ripple into its Intelligent Gateway solution. I talked about that a couple videos ago. Earthport incorporated Ripple. Earthport, acquired by Visa, obviously now, incorporated the Ripple protocol as part of its Distributed Ledger Payments Hub with API-based integration to Ripple's Distributed Ledger protocol. The Expertus Global Payment Solution will use Ripple to allow clients to benefit from distributed ledger technology. I have not looked up Expertus. Expertus 1. I will do more research into Expertus here. Maybe there's a... Expertus is a privately held learning... I don't think that's it. I'll do more of that later. Volante Technologies has launched an integration solution designed to simplify bank connectivity to Ripple. And here we go. Deloitte is working on an integration project combining Ripple's protocol and Temenos' core banking software for direct bank-to-bank settlements in real time. I'll link this document too. I actually don't think I've ever seen this document from 2015. This is a MISIS document, like I said. Very, very interesting stuff here, everybody. Now, I have quite a bit about DTCC that I've been looking up over the past couple of years here. There's a ton of information. Project Ion is what I'm looking more into here. If you go on to DTCC's YouTube, and I'm going to close with the, well, I have one more thing after this. If you go onto DTCC's YouTube, the first video that pops up, what they have that shows up right when you get to their website is Institutional Trade Processing Vision. Okay? This is trade information warehouses across the board. The first 10 seconds of this, all it is digital assets and cryptocurrencies flashing across the screen. So when they're talking about, they want to start using the technology, but they don't know if crypto assets and digital assets are going to, fully be integrated into the systems. That is nonsense rhetoric. They're lying straight to your face. They know what digital assets represent. It doesn't need to just be XRP. Across the board, digital assets is, in my opinion, it's going to be a gold rush unlike we've ever seen. I think that the last bubble that happened in 2017, and I was there for it, was straight a test to see what retail investors were willing to do. And I mean, it was pandemonium. All of the there was people paying other people for their Binance logins so that they could purchase digital assets. Now, what do you think happens whenever you have utility across the board that is going to be utilized by all of these large FIs and banks? At some point in the near future, it will be utility mixed with that same speculation times 100. I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but it's common sense. That's what's going to happen. Now, the people that are getting in now, I mean, I feel great for. I mean, I'm actually a little bit mad that I got in 2017, didn't sell what I should have, and then didn't get in now, because people that are actually doing the research now, investing in the right things, have the potential to make quite a bit of money, in my opinion. So I'm going to end it with this real quick. My buddy, and we've all seen this. This is the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset. I have to dig a little bit more. He said this was just sent to him today. And as a backdrop here, my buddy works at CMU, Carnegie Mellon University. And Carnegie Mellon University is partnered with Ripple to accelerate innovation in blockchain and cryptocurrency. So just to leave you guys with this, I mean, the information is being spread, and what's going on is definitely bigger than most, if not all of us have ever experienced in our entire lives. And there's people like, you know, my friend who, you know, buys into some of this stuff a little bit, but I think he maybe holds 200 XRP, and that's all that he has, because I begged him to do that, not financial advice. And there's people like this that are starting to realize maybe what's going on behind the scenes here. I know that the global reset, you know, has to do with the rhetoric that's being rolled out quite a bit more than just digital assets. My opinion, you know, you're going to see green finance, all this stuff across the board. But as we all know, most of this stuff's about control. And you know, I'm curious to see how this shakes out. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Looking forward to really diving a little bit deeper in tomorrow here, but I hope you like the DTCC information. And oh, one other thing. Check out Axoni. Axoni is partnered with DTCC as well. I have been trying to find Ripple connections with Axoni for a while. Axcore is their platform. If you happen to find anything like that, please feel free to tag me in it. I'd be interested in seeing it. All right. Later, guys. Bye.